All right, so welcome back to Coffee Cafe. So we officially just finished every single transaction that we need here. So we won't be needing our journal anymore for the unadjusted trial balance, but it's only there just in case we did make a mistake somewhere. Now I know just because we've been doing our journal correctly, the reason why we need to keep the journal here is so then we can make sure that we match our ledger in case we made a typo in the ledger, okay? Now, the ledger, right, is what you actually predominantly need to do the unadjusted trial balance. So again, the journal, it's only there in case we need to correct anything that's in the ledger. Okay? And all you need is just the ledger and your financial forms. Okay? So here it is. Now, let's take a look at what I expect of you from the trial balance, because this time it says here that we are going to do a trial balance, but I want you to be using only main accounts, okay? So what does that mean? Well, anything that is not in capital letters is a sub account or contra account. So what I want you to do is I want you to start putting in everything that's a main account and basically shrinking up your trial balance to make it much more easier to kind of look at the details a little better. Now, let's take a look at what the difference between the trial balance and the unadjusted trial balance that I have for you on the financial forms. Now, take a look here. I have 4 columns here, right? Let's shrink this up so we can see it better. I have 4 columns here with 2 debit columns and 2 credit columns. Why? Because we spent so much work putting together our trial balance, right? So instead of having to go through every single one and equaling some this, equaling some that, I'm going to make it a little more easier for you so you can just go ahead and continue doing your trial balance. The only difference is we're going to be adding in those 2 columns and adding in anything extra that we have come across between the last 2 days of the worksheet here. Okay, so in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to be adding a lot of main accounts that we have not included, and as well as anything else that we need to include. So as far as this, that's exactly what I want you to do. So what's going to happen here is I'm actually going to delete this file, okay, this sheet, because we're going to just make a copy, like I said, right? There's no purpose to have to make you start all over when I can just make a copy of the trial balance number 4, turn it to the unadjusted trial balance, and just add as I go. So that's the bonus there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click my trial balance number 4, click move and copy, ensure that I click that create a copy, and I'm going to put it right in between my adjusted trial balance and click OK. So there it is. So I have my trial balance number 4 and my trial balance for number 2. So I'm going to rename that and call it my unadjusted trial balance. Okay? So this basically means before we do our adjustments, what is my current trial balance at the end of everything that we've done so far, or at the end of the accounting period. So in this case, that's why it's called the unadjusted trial balance, not trial balance week 5. Okay? So again, I'm going to go ahead and modify this. So right now it says trial balance. We want this to say unadjusted trial balance. When I find my U, unadjusted trial balance, ending on June 30th, 2020. Okay? So that's that there. Now I need to start inserting columns in my spreadsheets. So in this case, right, the rule of thumb is you're going to click on the column, right? So right now I clicked on the letter C. It's going to highlight the entire column. Do not select column A, okay, or column A in row 1. Do not do the individuals because those will only insert that individual cell. You want to insert an entire column. So in this case, I'm going to highlight letter C. And the rule of thumb is when you insert a column, it's going to insert to the left of the column. So in this case, letter C, right click, insert, and boom, it created the column right in front of, right in between B and C. So in this case, I need a column before B. So I'm going to right click B and I'm going to insert the column right here, and there it is. Okay? Now you may need to adjust, shrink, and move your lines around so you can see everything, or shrink them down so they all fit. So like this, okay? And I'm gonna make it so that we are able to see it. Okay, this will be my debit column. Actually, here, just copy that. And this will be my credit column. Okay, so everything looks good. Okay, let's see. I might be able to shrink this a little more. And we could probably shrink my debits a little more. So I'm trying to make it so that I'm able to squeeze it into my screen here. But at the same time, I want to also be able to see everything, okay? So there you go, without having to move my worksheet too far to the left or too far to the right. So there you go. That's how I want it. Now this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make two indications, right? I want my main accounts to be in the color, in any color that I want. So if you want to use any color font, that is, or if you want to highlight them, however you want to do it, just as long as you make a differentiation between your main accounts and every other account, okay? So that's what I'm going to do, okay? So the very first one, let me go ahead and give you an example, okay? So the very first thing that I'll go into my assets, right, is my first main account is going to be my bank account, right? If I take a look at my chart of accounts, it will be a more clear vision of what my main accounts are versus what my sub accounts are, okay? So let's take a look at my chart of accounts first. So my chart of accounts, right, we said that anything that's in capital letters is going to be my main account, and anything that's below it is going to be my sub account. So in this case, my bank account is going to be consistent of my checking, petty cash, and the cash in the register, right? So that means all three of these accounts are going to be summed up into this one bank account, okay? Because I just want to use main accounts. Underneath this, right, are my sub accounts, which gives the main account more detail, and it also flows in the same direction. So in this case, my checking account, my petty cash, and my cash and register all make up my bank account, right? Very similar to this concept, right? Where my business supplies make up medium, large, sugar, and creamer accounts. Those all equal my business supplies. But in this case, business supplies is an overall main account, right? It's very generic, or doesn't have that much detail, right? Where you use the sub accounts to break down my business supplies into actual items that I need to purchase. So in this case, I have a separate account for my medium coffee cups, separate account for my large cups, separate for my sugar and creamer, right? It makes sense. So that's exactly what I want. I want you to use just strictly main accounts and to be able to get the grand total amounts. Why am I asking you to do this? Well, since we are reached the end of the accounting period, it is best to start doing it now, because when we dive into completing the financial statements, I want my financial statements to be concise and very clear, right? Straight to the point. I don't want to have cluttered with all this different many accounts, because again, how many accounts do we have here? we probably have more than 100 accounts here that we don't even need or we don't use, or some of them we do use. And think about it. If I can shrink all of those up into 5 or less accounts, right, it would be much more easier to get straight to the point. And that's what I want for my financial statements is I want my financial statements to not be super long. I want them to be short and concise, right? So that's exactly what I want you to do. So again, this is a step that I am asking of you. Now, you could have done this from the beginning, but like I've mentioned, I want to ease your way through each trial balance. So this one is looking at every single account that exists in your chart of accounts. Now I'm asking you to sum it up in main accounts. So in this case, I want my bank account to be the first one that includes all 3 of these accounts. So going back to my trial balance here, right? I need to insert a row right in between the main line here and my checking. So I want it above my checking. So what I do, I'm going to click on that row for my checking account and I'm going to insert, and there it is. Now in this case, it's going to copy the format from above. So you want to be careful with that. So I want this to be left aligned. And because this is what I said, right? I want you to make a differentiation between your previous trial balance and your unadjusted trial balance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start even coding my main accounts. I know my main accounts are the capital letters, but because I'm inserting them and I'm creating a total for them, I'm going to make a difference between them because in this case, so then it's much more easier to identify. All right, how I'm going to do that? I'm going to use this nice blue navy color here, and I'm going to identify this is my bank account. Okay, now my bank account is going to be my first column for my debits and my first column for my credit. So in this case, the first and third row, the 2 rows that are columns that I entered into my excuse me, so many words I'm using that are incorrect here. I inserted my debit and my credit columns, right, into my financial statement here, right? Or in this case, my unadjusted trial balance, because I want these to be your main account sums, all right? So in this case, right, for example, my bank, I entered it in here, right? I'm going to, since I know that my bank account currently has my checking account, my petty cash, and my cash in register, right? Since I have all 3 of them and they are all debited, then my account, my main account is going to be exactly like that. Now again, this is what I want to have here. So I'm going to go to equal sum here, right? Now, before I do that, I'm going to actually color code them real quick, okay? I'm going to highlight this entire row, and I'm going to change the font of this color. Okay? I'm going to change it to navy blue, all right? I'm going to do the same thing. Oh, no, I color-coded that one too. Okay, do it again. So just all of my debits column, just this debit column, and I want it to be blue, okay? And I'm going to keep my sub-accounts all in black, okay? So again, I'm going to highlight my credit column too, and I'm going to color and change it all blue, okay? Because I want it that way, okay? So in this case, that means, so let's go ahead and test it. So in this case, I want to equal sum. And because my bank account consists of my checking, my petty cash, and my cash in the register, then there you go, boom. It should be right now $5,656.91, right? That is as of my last trial balance. So now that I put the formula in there, I can just go ahead and continue using my trial balance that I had in the previous one and continue by saying, okay, so how much do I have in my checking account as of today, June 30th? Well, let me see. I currently have $10,000 Okay, 10,885 and 17 cents. So when I type that in, right, my formula is automatically going to calculate that now my bank account is going to increase because my checking has increased. Right? So that's what I wanted you to do here is that watch this. So then at the end of the unadjusted trial balance, my blue columns are all going to represent my main accounts, while everything else that's in black is going to represent every single account that exists. So all my sub accounts, contra accounts, etc., are all going to be there. Okay? And that's what I want you to do, is to save yourself some time here, because then you don't have to start going back and forth, going to each column and then starting to go equal sum this, equal sum that, and so on and so forth. And some of them, since some of them that you recorded on here are already main accounts, you're going to have to go back through all of those to type those back in there and put all those numbers, even though they are already existing as what they were before. So in this case, it will save extra time by doing this. Right? And the great thing too is if you really don't want to see all of those sub accounts that exist there, right? Once you've done the formula, you can go ahead and hide those rows that you don't want. So for instance, if I want to hide everything that's under banking, I can go ahead and I can even select multiple of them. So I can select from checking all the way to cash and register, and I can go ahead and hide them. So then all I see here is just my main account and my main account only. So that is the beauty of Excel, is that even though I'm doing this that way, I don't eliminate anything and I don't have to start over. Instead of doing that, I can just copy the worksheet over and hide what I want to hide. So that's even a better upper hand of using Excel for this type of thing, and doing the worksheet the way that I'm doing it, where I'm creating the column for main accounts and creating the column for all the accounts, sub accounts, contra accounts, whatever it is, right? So this is what's going to really help you, so you don't have to waste extra time to rebuild a trial balance when you already have one that's already existing. So again, I can unhide them. Right, there you go. There's my checking, petty cash, and cash and register. Okay. Now in this case, I updated I updated my checking account to 10,885.17. Okay. And then now let's continue on. Petty cash is 500. Cash and register is still 310. So in this case, boom, I'm done with my bank account. Okay. So the next account I have is just my account receivable. In this case, my account receivable has a contra account, but we haven't used it yet, so there's nothing that we need to put there now. But now, what I can do here is I know for a fact that I've already entered in my accounts receivable account in my trial balance. So that means whatever this cell is going to equal whatever is going to be on my black side. Right? So that's what I'm doing here. So right now, my accounts receivable is currently not at $2,004, right? It's currently at $1,053.95. And watch this. It automatically changed it to reflect whatever I type in my black. So in this case, you're only changing your black numbers, nothing else. Your blue numbers are going to be equal to or equal sum to, okay? So they're formulas all the way down to till the end of your trial balance, okay? So that's what you need to know. You're only changing the black numbers and not changing the blue numbers. So in this case, now that I identified that my account receivable is a main account, I'm also going to change the color there too. Okay, so I can identify that this is a main account. All right, so let's slowly go through this. Again, no allowance for doubtful accounts, but the next account that I see that's a main account is going to be business supplies, which is going to consist of my medium, large, sugar, and creamer. So I'm going to go ahead and insert that right above my medium cups here, and it's going to be business supplies. So notice it's blue. Why? even though I'm inserting the line above it, it's copying the previous cell above it. So it's copying the format there. So because I changed the format to be blue, boom, it is also blue too. So that's just another rule that you need to know when you are dealing with Excel. And in this case, I know for a fact that my business supplies is going to equal a grand total of my medium cups, large sugar, and creamer account. Okay? So now let's go ahead and update my actual accounts just to see if anything was added or anything was taken away. So in this case, my medium cups right now, is it at 378? No, it's not. So I'll go ahead and change that. 378.87. Boom, that will change my formula automatically in my blue column. Next one. My large cups is now 568.33. So that's definitely going to increase my business supplies to 1,500. Okay. Next is my sugar. Sugar is at the same price of $64, and my creamer is still at $538. So again, my business supplies are done. Okay. Next account I have here is office supplies. Office supplies is still at $150. So in this case, all I have to do is copy this cell right here to reflect that it is $150. And I'm going to just change my main account to be blue. Okay, so I can identify it. So there you go. So my main account for office supplies is still currently at $150. So therefore, it is $150. Next account, inventory. So inventory is going to consist of my regular and my supreme coffee. So I'm going to go ahead and insert above regular coffee, and this is my inventory. Okay. So since I know it's going to equal my regular and my supreme coffees, right now it says I have $279, but we made some adjustments to it. So let's see what my regular coffee is. So my regular coffee is currently at $20.78. $20.78. And my supreme coffee is currently at $133.70. Okay, which will drop my inventory down to $154.48. Okay. All right. So then now, of course, my inventory also includes my ceramic coffee mugs, but we haven't done our periodic inventory conversion yet because it's an adjustment entry. So therefore, I don't include it in my inventory yet, but I will do it when I complete my adjusted trial balance, okay? So there you go. Next one right here is going to be furniture, right? Of course, my furniture is going to include my tables, my counters, desk, and display shelves. So I'm going to go ahead and insert right above my table. And this is furniture. Okay, and I'm going to code this blue once again because it's a main account. And I know for a fact that my furniture is going to be an equal sum of my tables, my counter, desk, and display shelves. Okay, so that's a grand total of $9,033.75. So let's go ahead and verify that my numbers have not changed. So my tables and chairs are still 660508. My counter is still 1193.22. My desk set is still 658.37, and then my display shelves are still at 577.08. So all of those numbers haven't changed yet. So notice that. So that's why my current book value for all of my furniture is at a grand total of $9,033. $33.75. So that is what I mean, where you don't have to necessarily have to calculate all of that and save yourself some time. All you have to do is just equal sum it. That's it. Nothing more. Nothing more complicated. Okay? So the next one is going to be my office equipment, which is going to consist of my computer, printer, and cash register. So again, computer. So above computer, we're going to have office equipment, okay, which is going to consist of equal sum of my computer, printer, and my cash register. Okay. So right now it says that I have $2,863.20. So let's double confirm and verify that my computer is still $1,834.84. My printer is still $378.87. And of course, my cash register is still $649.49. So those have not changed yet. Okay. So next one I have here is going to be my equipment, which will include my coffee brewer. So equipment, which will include my coffee brewer, coffee grinder, and my refrigerator. So in this case, it's going to equal right now $12,146.20. So let's go ahead and double verify that my coffee brewers is still currently at $4,505.29. Okay, so that's the same. My coffee brewer or grinder is still at $4,145.57. And my refrigerator is still at $3,049.534. Okay, and yes, it's still the same. Okay. So next I have vehicles. Now I only have a truck for my vehicle, but in this case, you're still going to have to create the main account. So whether you have multiple cars or just one car, you're still going to have to just treat it as a main account. So in this case, vehicles, okay, which is going to be equal to your truck. Okay, so vehicles, right? Well, I only have one vehicle, which is my truck. And my truck is currently still at $32,208.90. So that is still the same. Okay. Then let's see, we have prepaid accounts, which is already a main account, which is still roughly at $6,654.17. So since that is the same, I'm going to go ahead and highlight all of these since these are all main accounts. Okay. Let's see, my prepaid is still at $6,654.17. My deposits are still at $1,700, and my goodwill is still at $2,100. And no, I have not done amortization yet, right? That's an adjustment entry. Okay. So therefore, my deposits is still $1,700, and my goodwill is still $2,100. Okay. And of course, miscellaneous expense is currently at 0. Now, if you remember, I actually hid my miscellaneous expense. As you can see, 36, 38. My miscellaneous expense account is still here, right? I hid it because it doesn't make sense to have it. But again, it's still there in case I do need to use it. Now, in this case, I don't need to include it because it has a 0 account balance. So it would bring no purpose if you add it back in here and just call it 0. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to keep it hidden because so far it has no effect on my accounts whatsoever, even though it's a main account. Now, notice this, right? We just shrunk about, 20-something accounts in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. we just did 20-something accounts and shrunk it into 12 accounts. So do you understand what I mean by making everything concise? So if I really wanted to hide all my sub-accounts, I can do so, and it will only show 12 items in blue. Okay? And that's what I want for my financial statements. Okay? So in this case, I am done with my assets, so I can go ahead and move on to my liabilities. Okay? My liabilities seems to be mostly my main account, so that's, you're lucky there. So not much equal summing here. Okay, so let's take a look at my very first main account under my liabilities. Okay, so what you're going to notice here is you're going to have all of these seems to be all in capital letters. So in these three, my accounts payable account, my Visa payable account, and my notes payable accounts are all capital letters. So in this case, they're all main accounts. So in this case, right, let's take a look. Since my main account is going to be my accounts payable, let's see how much my current accounts payable is. So right now, top of the page, my current accounts payable is currently $6,731.09. Okay, now let's go ahead and change my Visa payable because I just charged it. So right now my Visa payable is currently at $2,156.96. Oops, let me fix that. $2,156.96. And it's equal to that. Okay. And then let's see, what about my notes payable? My notes payable is still at $649.49. So therefore, that's the same. Okay. I am putting in equal, right? And because this is the value is the same, I just go ahead and click on this, and whatever number I change in there will appear there. So in that case, that's just the example. Okay. So then next is I have payroll liabilities. Now notice this. Payroll liabilities is going to consist of my salaries and wages payable, commissions payable, FITW, company FICA, company SUTA, workers' comp, all of those, right? Because all of those deal with payroll. So in this case, right, I am going to insert and plug in payroll liabilities. Okay? And my payroll liabilities, once again, is going to consist of FITW, Social Security, Medicare, company FICA, FUTA, SUTA, and workers' comp. Okay? So right now I have a grand total of $815.94 to payroll tax liabilities. Okay? So in this case, let's double verify that everything is still the same. Commissions and our salaries and wages payable, nothing there. Commissions payable, nothing there. First one here is FITW is still currently at $225.76. My Social Security is still at $142.60. My Medicare is still at $33.35. My FICA is still at $175.95. FUTA is $238. SUTA is at $69. And of course, workers' compensation is still at $31.28. So therefore, all of this, that equaled all of this, right? All of this is the same. Okay? You got a grand total of $815.94 of payroll liabilities. Okay? Next one is utilities payable. No, we haven't incurred any utilities payable, so no city payable, no electric, no water or gas. Okay, so none of that. Unearned revenue has no value, so we are going to leave that alone. So the next one is sales tax payable. Sales tax payable is indeed a main account. So we're going to go ahead and highlight that blue or change to blue, and it's going to be equivalent to this. But right now, what is this? Well, let's see. What is my current sales tax that I've collected so far? So far, I have a grand total of $2,046.11 worth of sales tax. Okay. And then the next one is interest payable. I haven't incurred any yet. And loans, which consist of my bank loan and my truck loan. So there you go. You need to create one for loans, which is equivalent to your truck loan. Okay. So right here it tells me it's 29,221.90, right? So in this case, that's exactly correct. 29,221.90. So in this case, see if I could. There we go. 29,221.90. Okay. And that is it for all of our liabilities. Okay. Next, we have equity, which once again has no sub-accounts, main accounts, or anything. So in this case, owner's equity is already a main account. Okay. Right? And of course, my owner's withdrawal is also a main account. So right now, my owner's withdrawal is still outstanding at $30,000. Oops, wrong one. Right here. Owner's equity is still $30,000. Okay. And my no capital contributions, owner's withdrawal is currently at $3,000. And again, income summary, we're not there yet. We haven't closed our books yet, so no income summary. Okay, so $3,000 through owner's withdrawal. Okay. So here's the fun part. Sales. Sales consist of sales for regular coffee, sales for Supreme Coffee, and all the sales that has sales in front of it, right? So in this case, this is where we can get a grand total of all of our sales without having to see every individual item that we sold. So in this case, we can get a grand total of our sales. Okay? So in this case, right, you can go ahead and do your formula now, or you can wait till you adjust everything first and then get your total. But in this case, I'm going to go ahead and insert my formula, so then it just updates it for me. So that means sales for regular coffee, Supreme Coffee, ceramic coffee mugs, medium regular, medium Supreme, and large Supreme are all my sales. Okay, so there you go. Right now it says I currently have 24,000, but let's go ahead and adjust those numbers. Okay, so each and every single one. Here you go. Sales for regular coffee is currently $13.94.96. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in. $13.94.96. Okay. My sales for Supreme Coffee is now currently at $14.36.40. And then my sales for the ceramic coffee mugs is currently at $1,763.91. Okay. And my sales for my medium regular coffees is currently at $5,221.76. And then my large regular coffees is currently at $6,503.25. And then my medium Supreme is going to be 665577. 665577. And then last but not least, my sales for my large Supreme coffee is currently at $7,524.44. So that means my grand total sales in grand total is currently at $30,549. So instead of listing out every single product that you sell, here I get an overall amount of the total sales. $30,000 worth in sales. Okay. Awesome. So let's see what the next one is going to be. Sales returns and allowances and my sales discounts. Now, these are supposed to be your sub accounts, but in this case, I made them main accounts. So it's fine. They're contra main accounts. Yes, that exist. So in this case, I'm going to also recognize them as my main accounts. And of course, delivery income is also a main account. So first things first is my sales returns and allowances is currently still at $19.96 on the debit side. And my sales discount, right? We just had a couple sales discounts. So right now it is currently at $19,079. Okay. And then my delivery income is currently at $300. Okay, so there you go. Copy the $300 there. Okay. And then no interest income. Okay. All right, almost there, guys. Next is my cost of goods sold. Cost of goods sold, right? We only have two things here, right? That's my main account. Once we actually dive into our adjustment entries, that's where we can actually discover how much cost of material is going to be. So in this case, my cost of goods sold is my main account. And what makes up my cost of goods sold is the cost of goods sold for the regular coffee and the cost of goods sold for my Supreme coffee. So cost of goods sold, which is going to equal my regular and Supreme coffee. Okay. So right now, let's go ahead and see what my cost of goods sold for my regular coffee is. So right now, cost of goods sold for my regular coffee is currently at $14.0603. And my, Supreme coffee is going to be at $14.86 and 61 cents. So therefore, grand total cost of goods sold is $2,892.64. Okay. So nothing else that I have there because, again, cost of materials come later. And we haven't done our adjustment entry yet for our periodic conversion. So we don't even have our cost of goods sold for the ceramic coffee mugs yet. Okay. Last but not least is going to be all of our expenses. So since most of our expenses are just going to be majority main accounts, so again, you can highlight them already. So advertising, business, freight, and insurance expense are obviously going to be your main accounts. So let's go ahead and go down the line to ensure that all of these are the same. So starting with advertising expense is still at $185. Okay. No bank fees yet, but my business expenses are still at $1,000. Okay. My freight expense is still at $500. Okay. And let's see, my insurance expense is still at $395.83. Okay. Now here's where we come into another main account here. So we have interest expense, haven't occurred any yet. Then I have labor expense, which consists of my subcontractor and my temporary labor expense. So in this case, I need to insert a row here, row. And I'm going to call this labor expense. okay, which is going to be equal to my subcontractor and my temporary labor, okay? So again, my subcontractor is still at $18.90 and my temporary still $360, okay, giving me a grand total of $2,250. Okay, next one, license and permit expense, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and highlight these because these are still main accounts. So, oops. Okay, so license and permit expense, okay, is still currently at $375. Loss on disposal of asset is still at $2,000. Okay. And then let's see. Salaries and wages expense. Let's see what that is going to be. So we have office supplies expense. We have currently 0 because we haven't adjusted our office supplies yet. Okay? And then let's see what it says here. We have payroll expenses, which include my salaries, commissions, and payroll tax. So therefore, I'm going to insert another row here for payroll taxes or for payroll expenses, okay, which will include salaries, commissions, and payroll taxes. Ooh, what happened here? There you go. So let's just ensure that my payroll expenses are at salaries for $2,300. Okay, my commissions at $560.66, and my payroll taxes is still $414.23. So grand total is that $3,274.89 worth of payroll. Okay. Next here is purchase expense, right? My purchase expense, okay? Okay, my purchase expense, right? So this is where I'm going to be teaching you a formula that happens because in this case, I do have contra accounts under these, right? Purchase returns and allowances decrease my purchase expense. So you're going to also understand that same exact idea where you're going to, your purchase expense is going to be whatever your purchase expense is, subtract your purchase returns, okay? Oop. Yes. No. Again, your purchase expense is going to be your purchase expense, subtract your purchase returns. Okay, so in this case, instead of having 1092.20, you're currently at 1069.96. Okay. All right. So again, your purchase expense is still at 1092.20. Your purchase returns and allowance is still at $22.24. And then guess what? We have a purchase discount, which is another contra account. So then in this case, you're going to need to include that in there. So again, this one is a contra sub account or contra main account in this case. So you got a purchase discount, okay, which affects your purchase expense. So now you need to include that into your formula. So your formula is going to be your purchase expense minus your purchase returns minus your discounts. Okay, so now you should be, it still says $1069.96 because I haven't entered anything into my purchase discounts. my purchase discounts, which is credited for $1.87. So now my purchase expense overall is now $1068.09. All right, so keep that formula in mind because in this case, I'm summing up my main account for my purchase expense account, right? Because my purchase expense includes contra accounts and contra accounts, right? If you miss the discount and you take a loss on it, that's a contra account. So in this case, that's exactly what I'm doing here, is that I'm adding up my entire main account, including sub and contra accounts. So in this case, I have 2 contra accounts that decrease the value of my purchase expense. Okay? And that's exactly what it is here. So even though I purchased a total of $1092.20, right? That's not true because I end up returning products and I end up getting a discount. So my true nature of my purchase expense is currently $1068.09. All right, and that's what we need to see. So when we do our purchase expense, right, or when we do our conversion entry, you will see what will happen with those expense accounts. Okay. Next, we have here's your rent expense account. So again, I'm going to highlight these two because these two are main accounts. So my rent expense is still currently at $1,500. Okay. And then I have travel expenses that are currently at $271.07. So therefore, that is going to be like this. And then let's go ahead and see, do we have any utilities expense? No. Bad debt expense, depreciation, amortization? No. So now we are actually done with our trial balance, and as we can see here is my sub accounts are equal to each other. So yes, good thing, right? So now we need to also, I'm also going to put in the formula for my main accounts too, because I also have to test to make sure that my main accounts are equal as well. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight all of these numbers up here. Okay. All right. You can also, again, you can also copy and paste over the formula this way as well. This should cover everything. Okay. And of course, you can have your main accounts also you can have your main accounts also have that same exact formula where you're testing to see if your total debits match your total credits or not, right? For just your main accounts. So there's my main. So these are my main accounts in blue, and then my black numbers are every single account. So right now, my sub accounts match. Do my main accounts match? So does my debits for my main account match my credits for my main account? And yes, they do. They are even. Now notice this. They are not the exact same. Why? Because I had that one expense account that included both my debit and credit combined. So that's why my total debits and my total credits do not equal each other in this kind, because we have my total main accounts versus my total every single account. So in this case, I got 102,421.98 for my main accounts, and I got 102,446.09 for my sub-contra, all my accounts here. Okay? And that's what I want you to do. And we are done because all of our numbers match at the end of our trial balance. Okay? So now you have the choice. If you want to, you can create another spreadsheet to just only display just the main accounts, whatever you want to do to, you know, if you're wanting to look at it more whichever kind of method that you want to use. If you want to view it so it's a little more visually appealing, so if you want to only see just your main accounts, you can hide all of your sub accounts underneath and just only show only the main accounts. You can do that. You can hide columns too. So if you don't want to show the debit column system, credit system for all your accounts, you can hide all of them as well. But the thing I want you to do is I want you to keep this worksheet, because when we do our adjustment entries, I'm going to use the same exact spreadsheet. So then I do enter in all my sub accounts in there, contra accounts, whatever extra accounts that I'm looking at, and I'm also going to be recognizing my main accounts as well. So then they kind of, I'm still using the same system over and over again, all right? So then again, when we do our adjustment entries, instead of adding them all in there and having to calculate that, I will automatically do it by doing this system where I put in my accounts in there and then just systematically take them out through the formula for my main accounts. Okay? So, wow. Any questions in regards to completing the unadjusted trial balance using main accounts?